Hello, hi guys, welcome back to the Football Showdown channel. Today we have a small preview for the Manchester United 24-25 season. And to help me with that, I have a friend with me who's been supporting Manchester United for a long time. Before we get into the video, I have a small request for all you guys out there. I'm trying to hit the 500 subscribers as soon as possible, so keep subscribing, keep liking, and keep commenting on all the videos as we're trying to build a beautiful community for all the people out there. Now let's get back into the video. Now, Manchester United have created a lot of buzz among many fans, especially the rival fans. But what is exactly happening out there? To help me with that, let me call upon today's guest, Sai. Hey Sai, how are you?
Yes, I'm doing good. How about you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Are you excited about the new season? You guys started off the
No.
transfer window with a huge roar. You had many rival fans against you. How has it been so far?
Well, the starting of the window was great, but now it's dry as the Sahara Desert, and our problems still remain the same as previous season.
Mm-hmm.
We have been working very slow in the market. We're heading into the season again with more or less a similar squad without not addressing the main issue. So I'm still concerned. So yeah, not good.
I mean, in our previous video, we spoke about. I mean, not me. You spoke about how the Ineos is trying to bring in a new board and like how Eric Ten Hag could be sacked, but a lot of news came out just before the FA Cup saying that he might get sacked, but that got retracted. How's it been so far?
uh, it felt like they didn't do their due diligence before making a decision. Like, I get it, there's a certain auditing process and everything which goes into it, but it's like basically, sure, they are saying that, you know what, we looked into the data, we looked into the numbers. Looks like Eric Ten Hag is the guy and everything, but I think we are fooling ourselves if we're telling it's the FA Cup when we change everything. Because recently, Eric Ten Hag, there was an interview during our preseason where he said he had no idea if he was be the manager or not because he was on a holiday with his wife, and that's when these guys, our CEO and everyone, flew down to his holiday and then told him that he's getting the manager's spot. Until then, he was not sure. That's how the scenes were.
Oh,
So
okay, huh.
sure, yeah, like sure, it's great that I have because I like the guy, but all of us, I think we know more deep down it's only because of the FA Cup trophy. If we lost, I am 1000% sure he would have been sacked and we would have gotten any random manager.
Makes sense. And another thing that you spoke about the board is how you have a team that negotiates well, so that you guys are not ripped apart when you are told to pay a certain fee or certain wages and all that. How has that been throughout your summer window so far? Because you guys came out like once the Euros got over and the Copa America got over, you came out announcing two signings in grand manner and everything. So how has it been so far?
Well, firstly, it's great. I mean, so let's take the case of Xerxes. Xerxes is maybe 22, 23, and he was Syria's Young Player of the Year, right? Grabbing and what do you call under 23, he had the most amount of goals over there. And the next is that guy's straight. All of us know Xerxes was lighting it up, and he was gaining a lot of attention because there was a very good release clause, which around 35 million or 35 million or I think pounds. So that was a good number for a secondary striker where you have quite contrasting. Then there's Rasmus Højlund, where he's more like a Haaland kind of
Out and
striker.
out.
Your Xerxes is someone who moves like Benzema, like he will let your wingers inward, or he might drop down, where you might want your number 10 to go up forward. So he's not someone who's a poacher. So I like that sort. I feel like for me, in team building, attackers are where you need contrasting profiles, not in the other positions, because those guys change your games in the end, like in the dying minutes or let's say in the second half. So grabbing and Xerxes' interview today, he actually said the same thing. He's like, I'm not a typical nine, I'm not like a typical 10, but I'm a
Nine
nine
and
and
a
a
half,
half.
yeah.
Arsenal fans very well know where this quote comes from. It's Robin Van Persie who said that. The exact same words, right?
Yeah.
So that was like, okay, cool. We heard this quote before, but this is good to know because that means Bruno Fernandes will have some sort of support. And at our club, similar to how Arsenal have wingers who score more, or like ones who are the ones who are responsible. We have in terms of Rashford right now, Garnacho, and now this is gonna be Amad Diallo season. That
Hopefully.
kid is also, I mean, he's 22 for
Hopefully.
sure. He's gonna light it up. So that's good. Right. And his wages, Xerxes' wages are less than 60K, which is not so Manchester United like.
Yeah.
And that's a thing to see. The next big thing, which was the talk of the town, the talk of probably the summer windows, Lenny
Uh,
Euro, where sure we were. Uh, I mean, it's good to dream because I think everyone knew that Lenny Euro is going to Madrid because Madrid are out of centre backs. It's all Rudiger and what do you say, your Militao, and they're done. Why? Nacho has left for Saudi. They don't have any replacements, and they have said it in the open that they want Lenny Euro. That is a public statement. And all of us know Julian Calafat was also responsible for the negotiations, who basically got all the star signings. So we were like, I mean, if Madrid knocks on your door, you're done. Like, you have to go to Real Madrid. But we offered, and out of the blue, we put in a, like nowhere, we just put in a bid. Where instead of going for the player, we went for the club. Like, we're like, okay, let's agree terms with the club first so that becomes easier. We did that. And our club, obviously, they have agreed immediately because
it's a huge lot of money.
we are offering more
exactly.
money. Yeah. And people call that a very, what do you call that? They're like, okay, he's coming just because offering money. I mean, that's how the footballing, what do you call that, industry works. Because when you're going against the likes of Real Madrid and co, you need to put in the money. A classic example of Declan Rice. I'm not saying that he was not supposed to go to Arsenal, but all of us know City were going head to head with Arsenal for Declan Rice. And they were not going more than 80 million. And personal terms, obviously not a big deal because Declan Rice just wanted a big club. And obviously, London versus preference. But again, same thing. Man City comes calling, nobody says no, right? And Arsenal, out of the blue, they just went for the 100 million. They're like, fuck it, we're going to pay it up. We're going to pay it up. And they did. And the deal was wrapped up in less than 24, 48 hours. And that's how it works when you have successful institutions like Bayern Munich, Madrid, Man City, all these clubs calling. The only way the second tier teams can go is bid more money. And that's okay. Like, that's how you attract players. And that's completely okay. And that's what we did. And at the same time, we also deployed Rio Ferdinand to personally convince Lenny Euro. Yeah. That happened. And Euro has also confirmed that, Ferdinand did play a role somewhere. So it was great because all of us know he's in the top 5 for Golden Boy. And it is pretty evident that he's a generational talent. So when that was announced, it was goosebumps because that basically gave a huge statement to the rival saying, okay, how much ever we are in the dump, we are still Manchester United. That's exactly what happened. But the injury in the preseason was
that was
exactly like what we thought about Kobe Mainoo last season. The same injury, Ahmad's preseason injury, that again put us back to square one. So now it's basically like the only signing we have is Xerxes. That's it.
I mean, and you guys have not seen him play yet, right? He's not been part of the preseason yet.
Yeah, no, exactly. We didn't even see him play. That's another painful thing.
I mean, the Euro thing, first and foremost, I'm genuinely like, see, when he signed for 60 million, you can look at the price tag and like think like, bro, he's overrated. But like, you have to even put in context, right? Like, even for Rasmus, I remember us having a conversation about it. Rasmus for 80 or like 85 million was definitely not worth it. But for available strikers out there, it's better to put for a potential rather than buy some mediocre person for about like 70, 80 million, who you're not even guaranteed for goals. Like, potential, you can at least try to like trim him or like groom him in the way that you wanted to make him play. Euro also, I felt the same situation. My only thing is that if Euro is your 60 million signing for this season, are you going to invest in more centre backs, and how much is it going to affect in your transfer budget? Because you need more more experienced centre backs in your team right now to play, rather than potential, because you can have potential attackers but you can't have potential defenders, right? There's a huge difference in how you think. So that is my only question mark regarding putting 60 million for him. But then looking at the way that you guys are targeting, like in the centre back positions or in the CDM positions, I think you guys are doing okay. Unless you confirm something, there is no point in having all rumors, right?
Yeah.
That is my only question, because you guys, if I'm not wrong, you guys have been linked to Branthwaite from
Branthwaite,
Everton.
Ligt,
Delete.
Dillet, we have
Uh,
Mazraoui, and then we have
uh,
Ugarte, and then we have Zubimendi, and we have Fofana right now. So the personal terms have been agreed between Dillet and
hmm,
Mazraoui. Those terms are
hmm.
done. They are basically waiting for medicals. If you don't know, Dillet hasn't traveled for the preseason. He's back at Bayern.
Uh,
He's in Germany
oh
right now.
wait,
He
wait, wait.
hasn't
So
traveled.
he it's confirmed that personal terms are done.
Yeah,
Okay.
so Ornstein and both, if you must have seen the new Ornstein tagger
Hmm.
yesterday, we have already put in a bid and it was lesser.
Okay.
The personal terms have been agreed, so it's like a double
Hmm.
swoop. It's a Mazraoui and
Hmm.
delayed
Hmm.
double
Hmm.
swoop. So they're expecting a total package around 55 to 60 million. We are bidding on 50
Hmm.
million, so there's a difference of about 5 million
Hmm. Hmm.
basically.
Hmm.
So, and Mazraoui's medical has already been booked. At the moment, it was supposed to be
Okay.
tomorrow.
Hmm.
But that looks like that's not happening because the only thing is, once Bissaka leaves to West Ham, that's when we
Ah.
can confirm the
Yeah.
signing of
True.
Mazraoui.
True. True.
So the way our transfer is working right now is we didn't expect to put a lot of money for Lenny
Hmm.
Euro, so that changed things
Hmm.
for us. So now it's basically a one-way
Hmm.
street. We sell player, we sign a player. We sell player, we sign a
Hmm.
player. It's unless we sell, we are not signing
Hmm.
any
Hmm.
players.
Makes sense. Yeah.
So we are right now trying to clear Lindelof,
Hmm.
Ericsson, Casemiro,
Hmm.
McTominay,
Hmm.
Wan
Hmm.
Bissaka. So once they go, players come in
Hmm. Hmm.
automatically.
Hmm.
So it's a very tricky situation we are in. But as you said, the experience part, that's exactly probably why we're trying to
Hmm.
deal it because even though he's just 24,
Hmm.
25, he's played at the top level for almost 7 to
True.
8 years. And one more thing we know is he's played with Eric Ten Hag at the
Hmm.
same time.
Hmm.
So he knows how to
Hmm.
use him.
Hmm.
And if you're putting aside his unfortunate injuries, Dillard is still a very, very class player.
Hmm.
And 24 is a very less age for a centre back. That's hardly
Hmm.
even at his initial
Hmm.
stages.
Hmm.
So it's a good signing. I like when I look at the squad of City and Arsenal, and now they're at a level where you have your likes of Ben
Hmm.
White, you have your likes of Akanji,
Hmm.
Ake. They're your backups right now. That's the level we should aim. And when you see on the team sheet, Dillit is your
Hmm.
backup. That's how you build a
Hmm.
squad.
Hmm.
So I'm happy with that. At the same time, the reason why we were supposed to sign a left back
Hmm.
initially, not a right
Hmm.
back. What changed things was so right back we were actually targeting the Turkish fullback called Kadioglu. I think we must have seen him in the Euros. He was lighting it up.
Ha. The left back.
He was very expensive. So if you don't know this, Kadioglu has played at every position beside goalkeeper in his
Oh
career.
yeah, yeah, ha, ha, yeah. He was initially linked to Arsenal as well, if I'm not wrong. Ha. He
Yes.
plays for like
So
Fenerbahce
Arsenal,
right now. Oh no. Yeah.
Fenerbahce,
Yeah, exactly. Ha,
Fenerbahce.
ha, ha, ha. Yeah.
So yeah, Arsenal moved on to Calafiori and we swooped in for Kadioglu, but it was around 40 million, which was too expensive.
Oh. Hmm.
And one thing I think we fans knew was there was a kid in our academy who's ready to break out.
Hamas.
I think everyone should remember this. Yes, Harry Mas is going to be the next in line for the England this thing.
Hmm. Hmm.
He is a Lukshaw
Hmm.
region, essentially. That's what he
Hmm.
is. With Harry Mas breaking in, our plans changed overnight. We were like, you know what? Because if you send left back, you're blocking his
Hmm.
path. You're not essentially letting
Hmm.
him in. So Mazraoui is someone who can switch left back and right
Hmm.
back. Dallo is someone who can switch left back and
Hmm.
right back, like how
Hmm.
Timber works. So that means if we send Mazraoui, he can be backup for both the
Right.
positions.
Hmm.
So that wouldn't halt the
Hmm.
kids' development
Hmm. Hmm.
tactic. But the ultimate is we need midfielders. That is the most important thing. We don't have any good midfielders. We need two, not one. Two
Hmm.
midfielders. We know Casemiro had a good debut
Hmm.
season, but we can see him declining.
Yeah.
And with when you're playing in a system like a high press and like a very high
Hmm.
line, you do not play with players like
Hmm.
Casemiro,
Hmm.
and we are getting punished
Hmm.
on that. The next thing is a number eight. I mean, all of us know Kobe Manu is lighting it
Hmm.
up, but like touch wood, if something happens to the kid who is a
Hmm.
backup, it's Mason
Hmm.
Mount. But Mason Mount is a great attacker. He's not a
Hmm.
number eight.
Hmm.
He's more of a 10. He's more on the wing or like a false
Hmm.
nine. So it's a pressing issue right
Hmm.
now,
Hmm.
and that's exactly why there are concerns with Ugarte because all of us know Ugarte was great with Sporting, but after his big move to
Hmm.
PSG, it didn't really work out
Right.
for him. And PSG is like, we still want 70
Hmm.
million. And that's where I'm liking Ineos is they're like, you know what, we'll do a
Hmm.
loan with an option to buy, but we're not paying 60 million, 70 because Ugarte is not your regular
True.
CDM. He's not a
True.
six. He's a pivot
Hmm.
player. He's like a destroyer. He's like someone who's going to run
Hmm.
around. He's not your Rodri. He's not your
Hmm.
Rice, where he can control
Right.
games. He's not that guy. And duels, one a lot of people don't know this. Defensive duels, Ugarte, sure, volume wise, is very
Hmm.
high, but success rate, he stands at, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, around 160 or 150th position amongst midfielders in Europe.
Hmm.
That's not a
Hmm.
good thing.
Hmm.
Sure, volume is important, but success rate at the
True.
same time is even more
Hmm. Hmm.
important.
Hmm.
So you have underlying factors like
Hmm.
that. So Zubimendi, I have my doubts because that guy is a pure Spanish guy. I don't think
Leave Spain.
is gonna come to the Premier
Hmm.
League. And neither will Saucy. I did
Hmm.
lose the main six and number
True.
eight because Arsenal have St. Mary.
Hmm.
That's number one. Number two is now we are highly linked with Sandra Berg, who plays for
Hmm.
Burnley. So this thing is a pure scouting, what do you call that, data-driven
Hmm. Hmm.
decision. If you look into his data when it comes to defensive numbers, he actually stands at the
Hmm.
top, especially in the league. So there is a metric called second ball drawn, as in
Hmm.
one. Sandberg he stands at number two in the Premier
Hmm.
League. The other metric is the long pass
Hmm.
percentage. He is actually, I think, after Rodri, I think his number at number two or number three in the league, that
Okay.
also. So I'm quite intrigued by that
Hmm.
move. And number eight, I think the only number eight we are linked to at the moment is
Uh-huh.
Rabiot. Besides that, there's a player called
Yeah,
Fofana
yeah. Yeah.
who plays for
Hmm.
Monaco. So AC Milan have agreed terms, but there's an issue with transfer fee.
Hmm.
So it's good targets, but Community Shield is on
Yeah.
Saturday, and none of our new signings are going to start. It's going to be the same. Yeah, that's it. It's not going to be Hoyland because Hoyland's
Hmm.
injured. It'll be more or less the same team which played an FA Cup final, which is
Hmm.
concerning. I don't believe in Community Shield either, but for me, the way I look at it is it sets up how your season
Exactly.
starts. Like,
Exactly. Huh.
when you're starting with a
Hmm.
bang, it's a good morale amongst the
Hmm.
club. And at the same time, when you're pulling off a double over Man
Hmm.
City, that's always a good feeling to
Hmm.
have. So I'm concerned. I'm very concerned because Varane started for an FA Cup and now there's no
Hmm.
Varane. Maguire is good, but it won't be the same impact.
Hmm.
So that's it. It's the same team, and I'm concerned. I'm concerned right now. The window is 2 or 2.5 out of 10 at the moment. That's it.
Okay. Which brings me to the last question that I have for you. What are your expectations for the 24-25 season?
Top four, but if you're asking me specifically, third position, I would
Mm-hmm.
say, and Europa. Any other silverware is a plus because we won the Carabao, we won the FA Cup,
Hmm.
cool. Now we need to win the Europa because right now, Europa, the teams are not that
Hmm.
great. And with the Swiss
Hmm.
format, UCL clubs are not going to get demoted into
Hmm.
Europa
Hmm.
anymore. So once they're knocked out, they're
Hmm.
knocked out. So for me, third or top four, let's just say top four and a Europa Cup is that's a minimum. That's a minimum for
Hmm.
me.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Well, that's those are high expectations, and that's what you expect from a top club like Manchester United. Though I am an Arsenal fan, I will still agree that you guys are top club. Obviously, there's no denial about it. Obviously, banter's there and all that. So, yeah. Thank you so much for your preview and for your knowledge regarding the entire Manchester United team and how the board has been working with your transfers, with the expectations that you and the rest of the fans might have. Before we wrap up the video, do you have any final words?
I think only final words I have is you need to subscribe to the channel right now because there is more and more content coming
Hmm.
up, a more exciting content coming
Hmm.
up. So I think that's the only thing I would like to end on.
Well,
So yeah.
yeah. Thank you so much, dude. Thank you so much. Well, there you have it, guys. Keep
All right.
subscribing to the channel as we're trying to find the subscribers as soon as possible. Till we see you guys soon. Till then, good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are in the world. Peace.